Good evening and welcome. Um, you're welcome to our Facebook Live. I will just give a few more minutes. Hello, I can see Mitch. Hi. Just going to give a few more minutes to other people to join so that we can get cracking. Beautiful. So if you are here already, kindly say hi to me so that I can know you are here with me. It's lovely to see a few people already joining in. Just give me a wave. Just give me a wave and we will start shortly. Beautiful. I can see a few more. Good, good, good. Good, good, good. Let's give the latecomers a few more minutes before we start. Hello, Mitch. I'm glad to see you here. Let's see who else we have here. Sorry, I just have to quickly say, if you see me looking sideways, it's because I have a few screens around me. That's the problem with too much technology. Okay, so, and I'm also dipping into my notes to be sure that I don't stray away from what I plan to say today. Because it's important I respect everybody's time. I'm hoping that altogether I wouldn't spend more than 45 minutes at the most. So if you are here already, kindly give me a wave. Kindly give me a wave. If you are here already, kindly give me a wave. Kindly give me a wave. Okay. I think a few people are struggling and I'm not sure why. Let me just respond to some messages that I am getting. All right. Anybody else joining us? Okay. I'm not sure why a few people are struggling. Let me just see. What else can I do? Let's see. Let me see. Please bear with me, everyone. Sometimes technology doesn't work the way you want it to work. Okay. Right. Okay. Gosh, I'm getting a few messages. Oh dear. A few people are still struggling to get in. Why? I don't know. Please bear with me, those of you who are online. Let's just try and help these people. Let's try. Let's try. Right. Okay. I am definitely live because I can see myself. Okay. Right. Let's see if I can share the live video. Actually, let's see. Copy the link. Yep. Please bear with me, everyone. I will be with you shortly. I think I know how to resolve this. So if you just give me like 5 more minutes and we'll be done. We'll get started rather. Hi, Dolapo. I can see a few people, so I'm not sure why a few other people are struggling. Well, let's see. I think we can resolve this in a few minutes. So let's do this. Let's do this. Not everyone is familiar with how Facebook works, so we should resolve it in a bit. I'm just trying to share this link with a few people. Okay, thank you for joining. Those of you who have joined, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Right. Okay. Hi, Ijoma. Yes, thank you for joining. Hopefully, this has been resolved. I have just resent the link. Hi, okay. Ijoma. Yes, thank you for joining. Okay. So, where are we? Okay. So if you can see me and hear me, can I have a thumbs up or some sort of emoji, please? If you can see me and you can hear me, can I have a form of emoji? And can you just let us know where you're joining from? I am in Birmingham. Good to see you too, Ijelma. I am in Birmingham. Where are you joining us from? Please let us know where you are joining us from. Let us know where you're joining us from. Thank you, Ijelma, for confirming that you can see and hear me. That you can see and hear me. Thank you very much. I am going to start because we've wasted quite a bit of time. Thank you, Dolapo, for saying you can see and you can hear me. Hopefully everyone else will be able to. Mary, thank you as well for telling me that you can see and you can join me. So I said earlier on at the start that you will see me looking sideways. That's because I've got screens all over. Brilliant. Hello, Dean and Michelle. You're joining from Birmingham. Ijoma, you're joining from Birmingham. Oh, it seems Birmingham is winning. Where else are people joining us from? I would like to know. I'm hoping that all my audience are not from Birmingham. Tola, you're also from Birmingham. Oh my goodness. Birmingham is popular. Okay, can we see a few more people join? Where else are you joining us from? Tonight is going to be awesome. I'm hoping, somebody at least is from somewhere else. Wolverhampton, beautiful. Wolverhampton, great, great, great. That's really good. That's really good. That's really good. So we'll start in 3 minutes at 45 past, just to allow a few more people join. And I promise you, I'll get started right after that time. In the meantime, I would appreciate if you can just respond to a poll I'm creating. Just to here. Should be ready in a few minutes, a few seconds actually. Okay. Let me know if you've seen the poll. It's just asking how many years of 11 plus experience have you got. I'd like to know. So tell me if you can see the poll actually. Let me know if you can see the poll. Good, good, good. Can you see the poll, guys? Please get answering if you do. I'd like to know. So please let me know. Okay. Like I said, we'll start at 45 past and I would keep to that promise. So the poll popped up, however, you don't understand what I mean. So the question is saying, tell me where you're on your 11 plus journey. How long, otherwise, how long are you on this journey? Are you less than a year old in the journey? Are you between 1 to 2 years? Are you 3 years and above? Does this make sense? Who else can see the poll? Who else can see the poll? Who else can see the poll? Please answer. Okay, and we'll start shortly. Well, actually, let me know if you can. Who else can see the poll? Brilliant. I can see responses. Good, good, good. Good, good, good. Good. Could you answer on the poll? Oh, good. Okay, I can see the responses. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Right, and now we are going to start. Okay, we're going to start. Beautiful. So, thank you so much for joining us on this. My name is Esosa, if you don't already know, and I live in Birmingham. I am the founder of Jedon 11 Plus. It's Jedon 11 Plus. I'll come into it later on, but it's a platform that I have built to support fellow parents who are in the shoes that I once was quite a while back, and those parents who are navigating the 11 plus, either at they're at the start or somewhere in the middle, but they are facing some challenges and they could do with some help, you know. I'm sure by now all of you should know what 11 plus exam is, but just in case, it is the exam that qualifies a primary school pupil to get into a grammar school and further their education. Is a selective exam. I have to put that there. Okay, beautiful. So let's crack on there. So tonight is really about me sharing my story and how I came to the Jedon 11 plus framework. But you see, I thought about this and I felt, I don't just want to tell you my story, because my story is everywhere in a sense. It's on the website, it's on our YouTube channel. And if you've not watched it, please go to our website or our YouTube channel. Just search for jedon11plus.co.uk. And for YouTube, it's just Jedon11 plus. And you'll find a few clips of my story about how I got here, my 11 plus story, more or less. Right. So tonight, I want to dedicate it to really drawing out some lessons that I learned on my 11 plus journey when I started in 2015-2016, because I think that even though my experience will be somewhat different from yours. The lessons, the values will apply because the familiar thing there, the familiar subject, the constant there is the 11 plus exam. So there's no reinventing of the wheel. And after I've talked about this lessons learned, which I will weave a little bit of story around, I will open the floor for questions. But by all means, if you have questions even now, drop them there. I will definitely get through to them. I hope that's good enough. Good. So the first thing I want to say is, who really am I? I know I've said my name, but I'll tell you how it began. More than who am I? How did this whole thing start? How did I happen into the 11 plus? I vividly remember that I was at a dinner celebrating my birthday with friends many years ago. Again, I think it was in 2015 or early 2016. And we're having a good laugh, a good banter, good food. And somebody said, oh, her focus is now on the 11 plus. And I listened just casually to it and, what's she talking about? I may have asked her one or two questions and I don't know if I was even satisfied with her response, but I left that place that day with that thought. Why is she saying that's her focus now? That particular friend of mine is a, very serious-minded person, goal-oriented. So for her to make such a statement, it stuck with me. And so I left. And I began to look into that. But before I go into the next part of the story, the first lesson I want to draw out here is go out with your friends, celebrate your birthdays. But much more than that, it is about networking, you see, because that is how I got to know about 11 plus, even though I had been in the country so by 2015, I had been in the country for, gosh, where's my maths now? 7 or so years, and I had never heard about it. I mean, fair on me, I was relatively a new parent, but you know what I'm trying to say, networking really, really pays. Networking really, really pays. That's the first lesson. Don't worry, the other lessons will be more 11 plus inclined, okay? And so I went away looking into it. What is this about? The first place I actually went was my child's school. I went to ask if they could help me, that I've heard about this exam called 11 plus. How can they help me prepare my son? Unfortunately, I was turned back on because they said they don't support children with such external exams. In my mind, I thought, well, at least you should have told us. Let us have the options. I didn't know anything. If I hadn't stumbled into that conversation with my friends that night, I wouldn't have known. So with that kickback from the school, I reached out to someone who I know tutors, and I asked her if she could tutor my child. At first, she said yes, but then she said, all right, that she can only tutor him for 2 subjects, and I could try to tutor him for the other 2 subjects because her schedule was tight. And so I went away and I discussed with my husband, and by the time I reached back to her, she was fully booked. I was devastated, honestly, because I wasn't ready to tutor. I didn't know about the exam. I had no teaching experience. I had no knowledge about the UK education for that matter. So I couldn't. The only tutoring experience I had had prior to that time was when I tutored my younger ones, So it wasn't something I readily embraced. But like they say, when life throws you what? Lemons, you have to make a lemonade out of it. And so, as hurt as I was, as disappointed as I was also terrified. So this brings me to the next lesson, which is every disappointment is a redirection. I'm sure you'd agree. If you agree to these 2 lessons so far, give me a thumbs up. It also helps me know that we are still together. Give me a thumbs up if you agree to the 2 lessons. So the first one is network, and the second one is every disappointment is a redirection. Because with that disappointment from my child's school, from my tutor friend, I had to look inwards to see how I could help my child. I was just determined. I wasn't ready, but I was just determined. Thank you for giving me the thumbs up, Omo and Ijoma. I was just determined to see how I could help him. And that was how I landed into tutoring my children. Because I really didn't know many people who at the time were even going through the 11 plus. And I'm talking of friends. I didn't know so many of them. And so I started researching into it night after night, looking into what's this exam that seems so important. And I found out so much information was out there that confused and overwhelmed me. However, I plunged on, bought as many resources. In fact, I bought a lot of resources. Thank you, Zan, for giving me a thumbs up. I bought a lot of resources. I just started from anywhere. I didn't understand about the exam. I didn't understand about the subject. I didn't understand nothing. I just took my dear son. He was my first, so he was almost like a guinea pig. And I said, now you have to go through this. We have to prepare for this. Start working. When you hit a stumbling block, I'll see how I can teach you. And that was how we got started. I struggled a lot. I was preparing him for the wrong exam because I didn't know better. I bought so many resources because I didn't know better. I had no strategy. So these are several learning points. I had no strategy. I was just like an octopus, teaching today with this, teaching tomorrow with that. I had no informed knowledge of the way to go. And so when things were not working for me, my first instinct was get more resources. Maybe these resources are not the right ones. But at a point, as I was moaning, I became a moaner, to be honest. My husband saw me one day in the middle of one of my moans and said, what is all this? Are you sure we're not missing something here? Maybe we just need to check for something that we are missing. Strip down everything and just start all over again. And that was a turning moment for me. It was a big turning point for me. So what I did was, haven't prepared my son for about maybe 3 months or so without seeing improvement. I stopped him and just let him carry on with his normal schoolwork, with his normal school curriculum. Easygoing, happy, homework they give here and there. I was fine with it. But what I did was, I became the student. I threw myself into the entire 11 plus to understand what it entails. I understand my own teaching pattern, because sometimes as parents, we tend to teach with outdated methods and want to force it on our poor children. But it doesn't work that way. The 11 plus is such a unique exam that it's not even it's not the smartest student that passes it. And when I say smartest, I mean it's not the academically smartest student. It's the student who has learned some exam techniques that passes. Okay, and so I had to learn all these things on myself for weeks on end. I buried myself into it. I learned about the core skills. I learned about the different question types. Once you understand the question types, especially in topics like verbal and non-verbal reasoning, that's all your child needs to apply to the rest. So I learned all of that, and at the same time I was quietly studying my child to understand his learning style. And when I put all of this together, I felt quite ready. So I brought my son back into the 11 plus prep. And this time things were different. Not by magic, but by hard work, but by my own researching and gaining that knowledge. And then I had a strategy on how to go. Of course, by this time I had realized that different exam boards apply to different places and different schools. Even in one city you can have 2 different exam boards, or in one county. For example, at the time in Birmingham there were 2 exam boards, GL and CEM, depending on which area of Birmingham your child was writing the exam. Okay, and so that was how I brought back my son, and this changed a whole lot of things. My son almost became the tutor. There were times I didn't know all the answers, of course, there will be times. But I was resourceful. I knew where to look into. I knew how to get the answers. Sometimes with my siblings, I would just literally snap a picture of the question, send it to my sister who is a mathematician, or send it to my cousin who is really good in such puzzles, or send it to my mentor, But I never stopped finding answers. I never stopped solving problems. Because I felt if you let things slide, they will wake up in the near future to bite you. So I strove I wouldn't say 100%, but most of the time, I strove to get the solution to problems. And this solution necessarily was not necessarily about questions. It could be about my son's mood, his attitude. I had to find some of these answers. If they were not within me, I looked outward. And that's where we come in as parents. All right. We carry the gifting, natural gifting, to understand our children better than other people can, because we spend more time with them. On average, a class teacher spends about 20 timetabled hours with your child. But if you compare that with how much you spend with your child, it's over 100 hours in a week. So we have a unique positioning in our homes to support our children, to create the right learning environment for our children, and ensure that they are supported. And I'll come to that learning point later. And it brings me to my next lesson, which is lesson learned, which is strategy beats volume. So as I learned about the 11 plus experience and approaches, I realized that sometimes, if not most of the time, it's not about volume. It's not about buying resources. I bought so many resources because I didn't know better. And I had shelves full of books that we didn't complete or we didn't even need. I remember the story. I met a friend, a colleague at the time. We used to meet at the train station and walk to the office. And we would exchange notes about the 11 plus. And she would tell me this about her child. She would tell me that about her child. And she would tell me, oh, my daughter is now preparing with the 9 to 10-year-old 11 plus books. And at the time, my son was in 7 to 8 years old books. So for those who don't know, the books are designed according to primary school years. So we start from 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10. So she was, I think, 9 to 10 for her child. She was using the tutor, and mine was still on 7 to 8. When she said it, I felt sad inside, but I didn't express it. But you see, sad to say, her child didn't make it. Her daughter didn't make it. And after that experience, she came to me to support her with her son. Now, I'm not trying to celebrate a negative situation here. I'm trying to say sometimes it's not about extra tutoring. It's not about extra resources. It's about knowing, having the right strategy. And it brings me to my next point. No two children are the same. Each child comes with his or her own unique way of learning. So after my first son was prepared for the exam, he became very confident to the point that he was predicting his scores. So before I give him a paper to do, I'll ask him, so what do you think you're going to score in this, considering what you know? And he would just say maybe 75%, 85%, or he will give me a range between 5 and 10%, between 75 and 85%. Most of the time, this boy was right. Even for the last mock exam he sat for before the 11 plus, he did this at a public tutoring center. Just before he went in, I pulled him back and I said, do you want to make another guess? Because by this time we're used to his predictions. And he guessed it. And I kid you not, he got exactly that score in the exam. Exactly. That was when I knew that my son was ready. And come the 11 plus exam in 2018, he aced it. Thank goodness for that. Thank God for that. And so when I came to my second son, still along the lines of no children are the same, my first son humbled me completely, yes, because he brought me into the experience of the 11 plus where I had to strip off everything I knew and relearn. But with my second son, completely different. Completely different. His learning style was different. He was not as loyal as his brother, let me put it that way. He had a bit of a health challenge and his stamina wasn't the same. So I had to manage him differently, completely differently. I had to play to his strengths and work on his weaknesses. For both boys I did, but for this one in particular, I had to make use of the time when I knew that he was most alert and do as much work as possible to make up for the times when he just wasn't in the mood or wasn't disposed to do any work. And that helped us a lot. His brother, I could call him anytime, any day, and he'll be ready to work. Even at 6 a.m. before school. But with my other son, I managed things for him. If you're following me so far and learning something, kindly give me a thumbs up of some or an emoji of some sort. I had to manage him differently. So no two children are the same at all. You need to identify your children's unique learning styles and their unique attitude to learning, their unique needs, so that you can adequately cater to them. And also their emotions. Their emotions are always so important. Some children are more emotional than others. When you give directions to one, they react in a certain way. So you have to tailor your direction or your instruction for another, because they have or possess a different emotional quotient, if that makes sense. Okay? So I prepared my second son for the exam and he did well. And by this time, a few friends knew of my 2-time success story and they were beginning to ask me questions. One of the friends was the one who I told you her daughter didn't make it the first time around. So before I delve into that part, I'll tell you another learning point for me. Presence matters more than resources. Oh, I can write a book about this. So I realized that for my son to be gainfully prepared for the exam, which starts from daily preparation, I had to be present. Physically, oh yes, but emotionally. So physically, I'll tell you an example. I had to manage my schedule. If I had somewhere to go after school or after picking them up from school, I either declined or I cut down the time I was going to spend outside, because 11 plus needs commitment for most parents. We need to be present parents. You know, there was even a time at work when I realized that my job was taking me out of town often, and that meant when I came back home, I was too tired to teach him or too tired to even mark. And if I don't mark his book per day or per period, it stacks up. I'm sure some of you may know what this means. So I had an opportunity to change jobs to a job that kept me home, that made sure that I could pick him up after school at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. So that meant I was ready. I give him his food after picking up from school, and he's rested a bit and we get started. I was available at the weekend because weekends were my teaching moments. I made good use of my weekends to teach. Sometimes, depending on what's going on, I could sit next to my children to teach them. So if you're not present, how can you do this? Now, I taught them 95% of the time, and I'm not asking other parents to do this. However, even if you are using a tutor, which is a good idea, because not everybody can do it like me, you still need to be present. I have tutor friends. A few might be here and they can attest to the fact that for this to work is like a success triangle. Parent, tutor or tuition provider, and the student. So we still need to be present. Thank you, Sylvia. You said managing schedules can be a great challenge when supporting my children, especially work-life balance. Totally get this. And you know, as a matter of fact, I tell parents who are considering, not those who are already into it, who are considering going on the embarking on 11 plus journey to ensure that they don't make a big family decision prior to, or even when they are in it. And by big family decision, I mean, don't move house if you can. Don't change schools if you can. You know, such things, because it can disturb the ecosystem for your child's learning. And I get it. Not everybody can be fortunate like me to see another job that will keep them back at home. But that is why at the onset, it's important you count the cost, or you understand the cost before counting it, because you need to understand what it takes, the sacrifice you need to make at the beginning, because it will test you, it will stress you. But anyway, that's why Jedon 11 Plus is here, such as now, to enlighten parents, to make them understand how best they can cut back the stress. So that's a lesson point, which is presence matter more than resources, because you can use all the resources, you can use the best tutor, you can use the best 11 plus resources, and your child will still not do well. Okay? Now, what's the next one I have here? Ah, yes. So this brings me to my most important one. Parents. As a parent, you are the most powerful resource. You are the most powerful resource for your child. And I say that undoubtedly. I say that with so much confidence. And when I say most powerful resource, I don't mean as a tutor. Again, please don't miss it. Not as a tutor. As a complete package, you are the most powerful resource. I did a video recently. I think I've posted it on our YouTube channel. And I talked about how, as a parent, in addition to being present, you have to be resourceful. You have to be resilient. You have to be responsive. So there were times I tutored my children that I could just see that they were off. And no matter what I was telling them, they were not with me at all. So I had to stop. Sometimes I'll give them a break to go kick the ball at the garden. Sometimes I'll say, let's stop. Enough for one day. We'll start tomorrow. But you see, if I wasn't present, if I gave them the work and I walked away and I went out to have dinner or just play with my friends, I wouldn't notice these emotions. I wouldn't notice these behaviors because they play a big role in the final output for that particular work that you've given to them. Or there are times I switch roles and I make them the teacher. And I say, tell me what you're thinking. So if you had this problem, how would you go about it? Don't solve it, just talk to me about it. Different strategies that we can either learn or we have as parents. But it all comes down to us understanding our role. Another important one is, when I started coaching parents back in 2020, the first module I taught them was the most important resource or environment for your children's success. It's your home front. The home has to be ready. There's no point if the environment is hostile or emotionally unstable or packed up with so many things, books here and there. It affects the child's understanding and mind to be able to absorb anything they're learning. All of these make a lot of difference. Or if your home is the sort that everyone and anyone just walks into, making noise here and there, music, jamming, TV blaring here, as parents, we just need to understand that we wear different hats. We are the communicator, we are the hype masters, we are the hype mistresses, we are the resourceful ones. We have to find the resource because we can see a need, we can see some problems going on. We need to find or figure out how best to help our children. There are so many hats that we wear, more than any tutor, more than any teacher, more than any school, because you know your child best. Sometimes as parents, if we know our job, we can figure out if a certain ailment is really because your child is ill, or just them giving an excuse, or just them being anxious about a particular paper, maybe math, and math is not their favorite subject. And so when you put math before them, you see them acting funny. You can easily tell. So you know how to react. So these are the reasons, some of the reasons why parents are the biggest resource. Because a child who feels seen by the parents will work harder. Bottom line. All right, so let's get on very swiftly, and I hope you've learned some things from these different learning points or lessons that I've outlined so far. Why Jedon? So some people who probably don't know my history may think I've just come out of nowhere. I alluded to the fact that this is not right earlier on, that I started coaching parents after my experience, and the first time I started this was in 2000, and I was using a different name then, which is Parent Power Plus, and I love that name, don't get me wrong, but I changed it last year because I wanted to connect with the original source of Jedon, of my 11 plus experience, which is Jedon, made out of my two children's names. This is the first time I will say this live, so one is Jed, the other is Jonathan. And so I put the two together. In fact, they chose it, if I'm honest. So this is actually a family effort. So that's how Jedon came to pass and came to be. However, I started helping a few friends after my 2 times success, who felt, oh, if you did it with your 2 children, you certainly have some things to teach or help us with. And I certainly did, because unbeknown to me, I was making notes along the way. I like, journaling. So I journaled quite a number of things along my 11 plus journey from 2016 up until that time in 2020. So when I was ready to say yes to the first few friends who came to me, I just went back into those notes. And that was how I coached a few. And they applied it and their children passed. And I realized that this is really bigger than me at this point. I coached a few more and the cohort started growing and growing and growing. And so Jedon 11 framework was built out of not just my experience, but the experience of many families. And I say families, not just parents, because it has to be a family experience, a family journey, a family undertaking. I share, or I've infused the struggles, the tears, the questions, the successes of different families into Jedon 11 plus. Okay, and at the beginning, when I started coaching, I had this question asked over and over again: is there somewhere that I can have all the support that I need, be it academic and otherwise? And these questions were turning towards emotional support, because the 11 plus can take its toll. That's the honest truth. And sadly, I said no at the time. Thank you, Sylvia. You said my advice is helping you with your child's GCSEs and SATs. That's the honest truth. Like I said, the lessons may be born out of my 11 plus experience, but they are applicable, because at the end of the day, they are life's lessons. So thank you for that comment. So where was I? Yes. So I said no to the person's question. At least I didn't know of such a place. And so that fed also into why Jedon 11 plus came to be. Because a question you might ask is, what's making us unique? After all, there's so many great 11 plus websites. There are so many great 11 plus tutors. But my question is, how many really understand it from a parent's point of view? They are great, please don't get me wrong. But how many really help from a parent's shoes? From the many nights you sit up and you literally bawl out because you don't just understand what's going on. You look at your child's comprehension answers and you know that they are lacking. You look at their vocabulary and you're like, oh my gosh, what has this child been learning all these years? Or the tutor calls you after one evening and tells you, your child really is not doing great. I'm doing my best. And these are real stories that I have learned. What do? You go crying. You go into your shell, not knowing where to go. Or a tutor that doesn't give you enough feedback about your child until few months to the exam, when you discover that in this casual conversation with your child. This is one parent's story. And she saw me one day on Facebook Live and she said, I wish I met you before. And I said, can we talk? And she told me her story. She only heard from her son, who summoned courage to say, Mom, I'm afraid to ask my tutor any question when she's teaching. And this boy was in a tuition center with a few other kids. And that was when she realized. And the shocking bit here is this parent is a teacher, but she was so consumed or subsumed in her teaching life, and maybe because she's a good teacher, she trusted that any other teacher, particularly this one that was teaching her child, will know what to do. So she never asked for feedback. And so, surprisingly, I helped her and her son passed. And I'm not kidding you, this was about 3 months to the 11 plus exam. I wish I still had her voice message the day she sent it to me on WhatsApp. She was in tears, thanking me profusely. I say that to say, these are the aspects that the parents face that nobody sees or deals with on most of these 11 plus platforms. And that's why Jedon exists. I found no village to support me. And so I built one. Right from 2015 or 2020, I beg your pardon, up until now. And so all I've done from being Parent Power Plus to Jedon 11 Plus is widen my scope and widen my reach so that many more parents, many more families can be helped to cut back the overwhelm, to cut back the stress from the 11 Plus. Okay. So where are we? What more do I want to talk about? So definitely, this is not built by a tech company. This is me in my son's room, just me, myself, and I, pouring my passion, pouring my belief that other parents, other families don't have to go through the stress that I went through, don't have to go through stress the way many go through it, but they can be supported so that this navigation of the 11 plus can be calmer and they can be more confident. Okay, so in terms of our mission, vision, and aim, I've literally said it, I'm just passionate about helping that one parent, that one family. I'm not out to teach your child. I'm not out to take the jobs out of other tech companies or other tutors. No, I'm here to support you in the angle of the parent, the home front, and the family, because I see that that is such a core ingredient in the success of the child, so that when the child gets into grammar school, they are ready. They are not, in fact, grammar school is even too far. Like when they step into the exam hall, they don't run out. I heard a story of a girl who at the car park of the particular grammar school venue, she held her mom's legs and said, "Mom, I don't want to write this exam, Mom, please." Now, there are a number of factors that could have contributed to that, including fear, including not catering to the girl's emotional needs. And that's why I talk about the student's inner toolkit a whole lot in the Jedon 11 Plus. I talk about it. In fact, the Jedon 11 Plus was built on a framework of, let's see if I can remember it by heart. Yes. How to get you ready as a parent, how to get you resilient as a parent, how to make you resourceful, how to make you reflect. And when I'm making you all of this, or when I'm helping to get you into this different states, you're passing it on to your child. So those 5 R's: ready, resilient, resourceful, reflective, and rested. That rested talks about prioritizing mental and physical well-being, so that on the exam day, your child does not disappear from the house or holds your leg at the car park and says, "I'm not doing this," or even gets to the exam and just blanks out because of mishandling, mismanagement of their emotions along the way. And even you as a parent, you can break down, and you don't need to break down if you understand the do's and the don'ts. Okay? So this is why Jedon exists. So let me tell you a little bit about the website. We launched it about a month ago. The website is www.jedon11plus.co.uk, or you can simply just type jedon11plus.co.uk if you've never visited it. So on the website currently as it is, you have the Learning Hub. This is where I post my blogs, that cover different aspects of the 11 plus. There you can see a blog on the winning parent mindset, because it all starts from our mind. When you have the right mindset, you can get into the different states that I've talked about to support your child effectively. There again, of course, our story is there, and if you go there, you'll be able to download an A to Z roadmap, which just covers the entire 11 plus journey from start to finish and gives you hints on what to do at every given stage. And this is so important, that parents understand this. So if you visit our website, you'll be able to get this there. What else do we have there? A whole lot on the website right now, but that's just the phase 1. And the phase 2 gets more interesting. This is where you would get a full grammar school inventory. And please don't say, "Oh, I can get this from anywhere." I know you can, but hear me out. So this grammar school directory It's not just a list of grammar schools. It will tell you a little bit more about each school, the number of places available, the catchment areas, the exam bodies, which I didn't know at the start for myself, the subjects that will be tested. It will tell you the admission criteria. It will tell you, and a very unique thing it will provide is community. It builds a community for our parents, so parents will be able to post about their experiences with visiting different schools at their open days, or even if they have a child there, or if they know somebody in a particular school, so that we can help each other. You know, this the strap line for Jedon 11 Plus is navigating together. Don't navigate on your own. The more, the merrier. The bigger the village, the easier the journey will be. So this and a whole lot more is what the next phase will be providing to you. There will also be a parent concierge, where parents will be taught how to assess their children's weakness or weak areas, and how to support them in particular areas. Also playing to their strength, because every child has their strength. We are not going to just focusing on their weak areas. We're going to play to their strength, and also see how we can help change or build them from that weak status or weak areas that they are in. So that's the parent concierge. There's also going to be a vetting tutor service. That simply means, for those who feel, all right, Esosa, I hear you, I admire you, but I don't have the time or the resources or the patience to tutor my children, we're going to have hand-picked tutors that we can recommend to you, because we have vetted them. I personally will vet them and match them with different parents. Parents will be able to see the profile, see their experience, see their own success stories. They will be DBS checked. This is all that you will get in this next phase. And there will be expert webinars. I love my webinars, because there I give more content. I teach you strategies. I give you tips. I give you tricks. I give you tools that you can take away, and you will be guaranteed success on your 11 plus journey. Yes, and that's the second phase that will be coming up in a few weeks' time. So do well to visit our website if you have not already gone there, and just have a quick review of it. There are so many testimonials there about parents that have helped over the years, and you can see exactly where I'm coming from and why I'm so passionate about this. The feedback has played a big role in why I'm still passionate about this. When I hear a parent tell me that, Esosa, I knew my children had it in me, but I just didn't know how to bring it out. Or, Esosa, I wish I had met you years ago, because all I'm learning from you right now is, a gold mine and stuff like that. That you just have to keep going against any odds. All right. So that brings me to a time of questions that you might have. If you have any questions, please drop them or ask them. I hope that you have learned some things from this session. This is our first session. The next Facebook Live will hopefully be on our Jedon 11 Plus page. The reason we are here and not there is because it's fairly new, and I didn't even realize that for you to hold a Facebook Live, you need to have up to 100 followers in your page. So I'm hoping that by the next time I'm ready to hold another Facebook Live, I would have got way over 100 followers. So if you can, please join my Jedon page. I'll just type it there. It's simply Jedon 11 Plus. Let me see. I think it was coming up just now. Yeah, that's it. If you can just join that Facebook page, that would really help us. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to post it. This video will be available shortly after this live has ended, so you can always come back to watch it. But like I said, please ask questions if you do have questions. Any question at all, I'll try and give the next few minutes to answering your questions. I hope you have found this useful. If you have, also feel free to tell me your takeaway point. I know Sylvia has said this is also going to help her for our children who are navigating their GCSE and SATs, which is good to know. If you have other questions, please post it here. or get in touch with me, my email address is hello@jedon11plus.co.uk. I'll type that as well. I believe that's my email address. Yes, I think so. Hello. Yep, I think that is it. You're welcome, Zan. Thank you. Thank you. So any more questions? If there's no more questions, I will be ending this live at 30 past the hour. So in 2 minutes, but I just want to sincerely thank you for your time this evening, for your patience as well, because I know there were some technical hitches. Thank you, Joma. You're welcome. There were some technical hitches at the start. I am not sure why. Some people struggle with it, but hopefully they will be able to watch the recorded video after now. But back to you for giving me 30 to 1 hour of your time or even more. Thank you very much and have a lovely, lovely night. You're welcome, Michelle. Thank you very much. Okay, now take care and bye-bye.